Hey guys, Brian Castro from Better Chess Training, and today I'm going to be reviewing 1001 Chess Exercises for Beginners by Masetti and Messa. It is produced by New in Chess, and I'm going to actually be reviewing and demonstrating the Chessable ebook version. Okay, for some of you who are not familiar with Chessable, Chessable is a website and a service that allows you to either buy ebooks with openings and endgames and tactics, or enter them yourself from your own games or from other positions and other books you might have, and then review it systematically using spaced repetition. And this is a concept I've alluded to in the past, and it's a very powerful concept. And it's basically that our minds, in order to remember things and to truly understand things, we need to go over them over time. And what this service does, which I think is really great, is that the more you know something, so the more you're able to produce the right moves, the further apart the less frequently you need to review it, because you're basically demonstrating that you understand it. When you have trouble with it, when you get the moves wrong, it will bring it back up for review more frequently. And although this seems maybe fairly self-evident that this would be a good thing, it does it in a very systematic way, a very scientific way that is very effective, and it's benefited me quite a bit. So just wanted to go over that overview before I went into the review of the book. Okay, for this next part, let's go into what's in the contents. And here we see there are 19 chapters, starting with very simple mates in 1, mates in 2, and then going into more complex tactics. Here we can see decoy, sacrifice, and then towards the end we have mates in 3, mates in 4. And so this is really set up to be progressive, from easy to more complex, which is really what you want when you're learning most topics, especially tactics. So what I would recommend for beginning players, or people who are just learning tactics, would be to start from the beginning and go straight through to the end. For more intermediate and advanced players who want to fill in the gaps of their tactical knowledge, I recommend jumping around to where you find is interesting, maybe do a little bit from each as you go along. And you can see here I'm in various stages of the different chapters. So that is what's in the book. It's pretty comprehensive when it comes to all of the basic tactics. So why don't we take a look inside of a chapter and see how it looks. Okay, let's go into one of the chapters and see what it looks like. I'm going to pick one of the chapters I have not that I haven't gone into yet. So let's go into here, chapter 12. Promotion. So these are probably promotion tactics. And you'll see what you would do here is you would click Learn Next, and it will go to the first section that you have not studied yet. So what we can see here on the left is the board that you're going to be practicing on. And on the right here is the text from the book. So you hear promotion. I'm not going to read it to you, but you can see some examples here with the text, just like a regular chess book. And then I always recommend, especially when you're first learning this, you go ahead and read through all of it, but I just want to show it to you here today. And then you can click Next when you're done. It's going to ask you if you're finished reading. I'll say yes, or I'll save. And then what you can do is go on to the next lesson. So why don't we go ahead and try a few of these. I haven't done these before, so hopefully I'll get them right here. And let's see. Okay. And let's take a look here. So we'll do a little tactics training together. And we see here we want to promote this pawn. Looks like the key here. But how can we do that? And I think I see it here. We're going to block this rook, because that's the only one that can stop it here with this knight move. And that's great. I got it correct. And so when you get it correct, you can move on. But let's do another one. And in this case, let's see how the correct move here is to under-promote this to a rook, because if you promote it to a queen, it's a stalemate. So I'm going to go ahead and just play this here, and you can see that I got it wrong. Incorrect. If I look down here, and the correct move is b8 equals rook, as I mentioned. And so I'm just going to show you what happens. Click next, and then it's going to show me what I should have played. Okay? And it showed me why that one was incorrect. And then it's going to ask me to do it. So it's kind of like a little coach teaching you how to do it and then having you demonstrate it. And then it's going to ask me to demonstrate it again. Some of these are customizable. How many times do you want to go through something? How many times you want to review it. I just go with the defaults because if it's something that I got wrong, then I want to make sure that it's that I have it well memorized. Okay, let's do maybe one or two more here. Okay, so looks like we want to promote this guy right here, and looks pretty straightforward. Actually, interesting one here. I'm going to actually use the bishop to block. Okay, I got that correct. And if he takes, it stopped it right there, but if he takes my bishop, I'm going to promote here with a queen, and then probably win this rook as well. Just a couple things on the side here. So a lot of these moves are explained here, which is a good thing for beginning tactics. I know some tactics books, notably something like CT Art, which is recommended, I think is also very good, has a lot of positions, but I think it's more for intermediate players because it doesn't have any explanation. And then here's some of the, you can see in your current session, you can see how much time you spent on each move, and then Chessable has some gamification options here, so you can gain some experience and move up in levels, which is kind of fun to see yourself progress. Okay, and let's do one more. Okay, so the idea here is that I want to promote this pawn here, but how am I going to do that? So, let's see here. Not quite sure. Well, okay, I think I've got to get my bishop on this diagonal so he cannot prevent it. I'm just wondering if I have enough time to do this here. If I move here, he's going to maybe move here, and if I move here, he's going to move there. So how can I prevent that? Let's see here. I think let's push that. That's correct. And then I'm going to try to draw him off the diagonal like this. And actually it works because the bishop was pinned. And then I promote, and that is the win. Okay, so and here again you could read through it, especially go through this one. This was a multiple move one here, bishop to c5, and here bishop to d4, pinning the bishop so the pawn can promote. And then we can see here a couple different options. So the one option that wasn't played, but you can play through it here, is king to b7, and of course you're just going to win that bishop. So you can see how Chessable helps you to learn the various positions. Okay, so let's move on to the next part of the training, which is the reviewing of positions. Okay, I'm back on my home page here, and you can see that I have 22 positions to review. So just a quick overview here with Chessable. If you look down here on the lower right, you can see that it spaces out the different moves. And you can see I have quite a few here because I do some of my openings, my tactics, some of my endgame here. So it's a total comprehensive system here. But I'm just going to, you can just specify to review things from a specific book. So I'm just going to do some of the tactics review here. And so some of these are going to be, the ones that I just did in the previous segment of the video is not going to come up for a few hours because I first did them, and the review is going to come later today. But some of these I've done in previous days. I've been working on this for about a week now. So let's take a look at some of these problems, and let's see how we are going to do this here. Now, in this case, this looks like a checkmating problem here. And so queen takes e5 check, and then good old Arabian checkmate, which you might have seen in one of my previous videos with the knight and the rook. Okay, we're not going to go through all of mine today, but we'll just do a couple just so you get an idea here. Okay, let's see here. course, this is another two-move checkmate, and it's a decoy. I'm going to move my rook here and check this king. And of course, he's forced to go here. That move is forced, and then checkmate is right here. His own rook is covering his escape square. Okay, we'll do one more. Okay, and let's see here. This one is another mate in 2. And I'm going to check here to decoy the king over. And then good simple checkmate there. So a couple easy reviews. And you can see in this case, the key here is that I've seen these problems before. So I was very familiar with them. So I wasn't really solving them from scratch. And that's the whole point of the spaced repetition, is that you're developing pattern recognition. And you keep doing these over time, and these are going to pop up in your games. Maybe not directly from a move that you need to make, but the more that they're ingrained in your memory and your mind, the more that they're going to pop up in your calculations, both defensively and offensively, and you're going to be able to recognize them. Okay, guys, why don't we talk about what I think about this ebook and my recommendations. Well, what I liked about it was it's very comprehensive. In those 19 chapters, you're going to be hitting most of the foundational aspects of tactical training and tactical patterns. Okay, there is a logical progression, and I think this is the best way to go when you're first learning tactics, or when you want to make sure you've filled in all those gaps, going from easy to difficult. It uses spaced repetition via Chessable. This is incredibly important. I do it with all aspects of my training, and it's something that you should learn more about. Look into that if you are not familiar with it, and maybe I'll make a future video about it. And finally, I think there's good explanations to the positions. With chess tactics, sometimes what's obvious to an intermediate or advanced player is not obvious to a beginner, and this book does a good job of explaining the tactics. Okay. Any negatives? The only thing that I could see that some people might have a problem with is there's no tactical rating. So if you're used to like something like Chess Tempo or Chessity or chess.com, the tactics trainer, you're going to get a tactics rating that tells you how well you do. But again, you have to look at, there's 2 phases, I think, to training your tactics and learning tactics. The first is doing a comprehensive learning, which is what this is, where you're learning the various tactics, the pins, the mates and ones, skewers, all of these things, and you're going from step A, B, C, D, E, and F, all the way through Z. You got to cover them all first with the basics. And then you're going to go into the quote-unquote real world with the tactics server, where you're not going to know what the theme is, and you're just going to have to solve the problems from there using that pattern recognition. So I don't really see it as a negative, but some people might maybe have a little problem with that if you're used to the tactics servers. But I think you can do both at the same time and look at this as sort of a course in tactics, whereas you are training or practicing your tactics, on those chess servers. Okay, definitely think that if you're under, say, 1400 USCF, and I know you 1200 to 1300, 1400 players might get a little offended, but think about it. If you lose games by tactical motifs, basically, if you get a fork, if you get your rook forked by the knight, then you need to bolster that tactical recognition. Okay, so go through it systematically. I think, and again, my USCF rating right now is about 18, actually it's 1862 right now, so I think it can be very useful for players under 1800 to help fill in those gaps, because maybe over time you've learned a lot of different tactics, and you're doing your chess tempo, your chessity, but this is kind of nice to maybe fill in the gaps, aspects of tactics that maybe you haven't done a systematic study of. So pick and choose based on your own needs and fill in those gaps. I found it very useful for myself, and I'm finding it very useful. So I'm looking forward to completing the course myself. After you completed the course, I do think you should go and start practicing on those chess servers where they're not going to tell you what the tactical motif is, to help ingrain that, but you got to also continue doing those repetitions. And I use the example of professional boxers, like my favorite boxer, Manny Pacquiao, a world champion. If you watch videos of him training, he is doing the basics. He's hitting that jab, he's hitting that cross, He's doing the basics over and over and over again. He's not saying that this is too easy for me. Of course he knows how to throw a jab, but he's practicing it. Why? Because when you're getting punched in the face, you got to be able to throw those punches without having to say, I think I should throw a jab here. No, it's got to come out, and that's the way these tactics have to be for you too. So I got a little excited there, mixing a little bit of my passion, my martial arts and boxing with the chess, but it really is a good analogy. So again, if you are a beginner, intermediate player, say under the rating of 1400, that's just a rough guideline. I definitely think you have to get this. If you're not familiar with Chessity, I definitely think that you should get yourself familiar. It's a product, it's a service that I use myself every single day, and it's really helped me to ingrain those patterns into chess, and that's really what a lot of chess is recognizing those patterns and then using your calculation, your thought process to combine those. So it was my pleasure to review this book, and I give it my highest recommendations, and I hope you will take advantage of it. And let me know in the comments what you thought after you have gotten a chance to take a look at it yourself. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that review. Let me know what you thought. It's something that I maybe want to do a little more of on this channel. Better Chess Training is about helping you improve your chess. And so part of that is sharing resources and books and programs that can help you to do just that. So thank you for letting me be a part of your chess journey, and thank you for being a part of mine. And I hope to see you soon.